Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, around 6:15, and we're going to keep this going. We are now going to move on to linear equations and inequalities today from Khan Academy. And if you want to find these practice problems, you just go to khanacademy.org/SAT into the practice section. There's all these amazing practice problems, and they're categorized by topic. So it's really good, really fun, great practice. Hopefully these will supplement whatever you are using on that free resource. And again, I've mentioned this before, but that resource is actually tied to the College Board. So they're kind of working in tandem, so it's going to be the most, it's going to beat anything out there as far as SAT prep materials by a landslide. So it's really, really good stuff. All right, without further ado, let's jump to our screen share here. All righty, let's go to this, and then we're going to do again our little split screen. Gotta clear this, gotta erase my whiteboard. All right, see, let's go like this and like this. And let's begin. All right, so we're going to do this quickly. So today we got, starting with number 1, we've got 4c plus 5 is less than 4c plus 3. It says, which of the following best describes the solutions to the inequality shown above? Now, again, just like an equation with an inequality, we got to isolate. All right, so we got to get all these different c values together. First, I'm going to subtract 4c from both sides. But this is interesting. Look what happens. We got a 4c on this side and a 4c on this side. So we subtract those from both sides. What's going to happen? We're left with 0 and 0. Now we have 5 is less than 3. So this is an interesting situation. Definitely not going to be B, definitely not going to be C, because we have no C in our final resulting inequality. Our solution in this case, when we have two numbers like this, whether it's an equation or inequality or whatever, what's going to happen now is we're just going to have two numbers, and it's either going to be true or false. If it were true, it would mean, like if this said something intrinsically true, like 2 is greater than 1, then it would mean all real numbers would be solutions, because what it's saying is the C's actually have no impact on the outcome. No matter what, it's always going to turn out a particular way. But that's not the case. We have 3 is greater than 5, which is an intrinsically false statement. This is no good. So that means it's not all real numbers. It means that no matter what numbers we choose, there's no solution. And you can kind of prove that just with a couple examples. Like if we plug in 100 for C up here in the original equation, it'd be like 400 plus 5 is less than 400 plus 3. And you get, I'll bring it down here now. And then that would mean you'd get 405 is less than 403. It's not true. So it's like, and you can kind of see no matter what numbers you plug in, we'd always have a false statement. You'd never be able to kind of escape this truism about it. So D is your final answer. Let's move on. Now let's look at this one. 9 is greater than or equal to 4x plus 1. Which inequality represents the possible range of values of 12x plus 3? Well, sometimes with these problems, I would just straight up isolate x and then figure out 12x plus 3 after. We have the luxury in this one. They've set it up nicely for us. We don't actually have to do that. I'm going to show you why in a second. First of all, as I told you before, I like my variables on the left side. That's me, but you don't have to do this. So I'm just going to rearrange this. With the inequality, you have to be especially careful. This is pointing towards these guys, meaning 4x plus 1 is less than or equal to 9. So we got to keep that consistent. And then look at this. It's set up so nicely. What do you see the relationship between 4x plus 1 and 12x plus 3? We multiply this side by 3, multiply this side by 3, get to balance it. It's going to become 12x plus 3. So now we got 12x plus 3 is less than or equal to 27. Now we're done, because all the answers are just like 12x plus 3 is blah, blah, blah. It's not greater than or equal to. We know it's less than or equal to. That one's out. It's not this one because it's 17. Not this one because it's, again, great. It's not greater than, it's less than. So it's got to be D. And look at that. It's exactly how they've presented it right there. Choice D. And we are correct. All right, sweet. I always have to check because I'm actually, as I'm doing these problems, I'm seeing these problems for the first time. So Have to make sure I'm not making any silly mistakes. Could happen. Now we have 6 equals negative s plus 77. So given this, then it asks for this crazy value. All right, in this case, let me just think about it for a second. 77 minus s, blah, blah, blah. Well, all right. Again, we can do a little manipulation. So if this looks really complicated to you, you can absolutely solve for s and then kind of take it from there. But I can show you a shortcut here. You solve for s and then you plug it into this part right here. But I can show you a little shortcut. 6 equals, I'm going to rearrange this, negative s plus 77. Why? Because here they have 77 minus s. And that's the same thing. 77 minus s is the same thing as negative s plus 77. That minus sign sticks to that s like a negative. That's the exact same thing. Now look at this. Now all they want to know is we want to take this quantity, which is clearly 6, right? 1 plus 5 times 77 minus s. Look at that. You just plug this in for this quantity. See how nice that is? Because that is literally 6. We already know that. So now it's just 1 plus 5 times 6. This is 30. 1 plus 30 equals 31. And that is C. All right. Boom. It's correct. 2 more. Oh, we're doing on time. We're doing good. Always got to crunch in the morning before I got to get to school and teach. But we got enough time. Let's go to number 4 of 5. Again, same type of problem, but this is an equation. This is not an inequality. You know that because there's a little equal sign. What is the value of w minus 1? You know, in this case, I'm honestly just going to isolate w. All right, so let's see what we've got over here. W. So let's bring it over here. I'm going to first rewrite the whole thing. I'm going to bring all my w's to the left side. W plus 14 minus 6w. First, I'll do it step by step. First, I'm going to add 6w. Add 6. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it the proper way. First, we should probably combine these w's here on this side because we got 2 like terms. So w plus negative 6w. So then I'll rewrite the whole thing. 16, minus 7w equals. That's going to combine to become negative 5w, right? Negative 6, positive 1, plus 14. Now I'm going to move this guy over to the left by adding 5w to both sides. Adding 5w. This goes away. Negative 7 plus positive 5 is negative 2w. Don't forget the 16 in front. Equals 14. Because this is gone, so now we just got a 14 here. Next, let's move this 16 out of there. Goodbye. 14 plus negative 16. The negative 16 dominates because it's larger absolute value. Now we have negative 2. Finally, to get rid of the negative 2, since it's multiplying the w, we divide both sides by negative 2. W equals negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just 1. So guess what? W equals 1. So what do you think is the value of w minus 1? 1 minus 1, which is 0. This is our only viable option, B. And there we go. All right, finally, fractions. So not a lot of people's favorite thing. Let's get it started. 2/5 s. My phone is on. I actually didn't think it would go off. I forgot to silence it. It's beeping. All right, here we go. 1/2 plus 2/5 s equals s. Oh, equals s minus 3/4. Oh, I almost missed that. Equals s minus 3/4. What is the value of s? Straight up isolation. Now, if you are uncomfortable with fractions, we can get rid of all the fractions. And I'll show you how. All you got to do is look at all these denominators. We got 2, we got 5, we got 4. You got to find, all you got to do is find a common multiple of all those 3 and then multiply across. You may think you have to find the least common multiple. That's not exactly true. You don't have to. But it'll make life easier if you do find the least common multiple. Like you can multiply everything here by 100 and it will work. But the least common multiple is actually 20. So to make life easier, let's multiply this entire equation by 20. And you got to make sure to multiply both sides. Half of 20, this is 10. Okay. 2/5, 2/5 of 20, that becomes 40 over 5, which is 8. All right. 8s equals, oh, this would actually be on the calculator section. So worst case, could use a calculator to do this. 20 times 5 is 100. And 3/4 of 20 is actually 15. The way you can think about it is like you'd end up having 20 over 4 times 3. And then you do the 20 divided by 4, 5 times 3 is a negative 15. All right. Now look how much easier and nicer this equation is. Combine like terms, 100 minus 15, that's 85, equals 10 plus 8s. Move this 10 over, right? We'll keep our variables all on the left. 8s equals 75. Oh, this is not going to be a nice number or a nice integer. Then we divide both sides by 8. Okay. Now we have, do we have any common terms? Let me think about this for a second. S equals, wait, did I make it? This looks a little odd. Let me make sure I did this right. So we have 20, we have 10, we have 20, 48s. Did I write? I copied it down, right? Equals, oh, no, wait, 3/4 of 20. That's right. 20 times, oh, this is an S, not a 5. That's why this is odd. That's the thing I hate about using S's. The thing I hate about using S's is sometimes they look like 5s. So that, God, I don't understand why they do that. So that is not a 5, that is an S. So this is actually 20s. All right, now this makes more sense. Okay, let's restart. So now we're gonna move, so nothing to combine here. Let's first move this variable over here. That goes away. So we have 10 and the negative 20 positive 8 minus 12s equals negative 15. Then we got a subtracting 10, subtracting 10. Now we've got negative 12s, still not a pretty number, but I think this is more on target, negative 25. Finally, we divide both sides by negative 12 because that's what it's multiplying the s. We got s equals, and these become a positive. So here, let me put it up like this. S equals positive. I'll just write 25 over 12. Now this 25 only has 5 as factors, 12 is 3, 4. There's nothing in common between the two. We can't reduce it. So we got to hope that there's a 25 over 12 on the left side, and there is. We got 2 of these options. You might be tempted to go with this one, but it's actually this because the negatives cancel out. And there we go. So let me just say a few words. This is an entire section. Got through the whole thing. So we got them all right. Very nice. Let's exit this practice, and let's get back onto our little screen share. I mean, our actual on camera. There we go. I just want to say something about what just happened. So like a little mistake like that can get you a wrong answer, get you confused. So two points, actually. Sometimes I see students say, well, I didn't see my number. I didn't see my answer in any of the choices. So I just picked the one that was closest. It's usually not the way to go unless they want you to approximate or estimate. It usually means you've done something wrong. So why choose an answer that's closest to your mistake? It's usually indicative that you need to go back and try it again. Now, if you're completely clueless on the problem, fine, skip it. But if not, if you felt like you knew what was going on, it means you probably made a mistake and you should try it again from scratch, and then you'll get the real answer. The second thing is a good number sense, a good sort of like a natural sense, not a natural sense, but a good sense that you develop with practice, a good sense with numbers will allow you to spot and catch things like that and actually be able to say, hey, just like I did now, just like, hey, something doesn't feel right. You can go back, try it again, see what you missed. So very important. Hope that was helpful. And we'll continue again tomorrow with the next set on the list. I'm just going to go top down now. And we're going to do this every day around the same time. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an awesome, awesome day.